children. Well, in today's class of English language, we shall continue the lesson which we started in the last class. In the last class, we took up a new lesson, that is the tenses, okay, where we talked about the 12 types of tenses, which is for, and how they are formed by using, 3 tenses and 4 aspects, the 12 types, how they are formed. We read that, and a bit of recap on what we actually did in the last video lesson. Well, in the last class, we exclusively dealt with the present tense, okay, and the uses of the 4 uses of present tense, that is the simple present tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense, okay, that we studied in the last class. Okay, so today's lesson is, in today's class we shall just focus on, past tense. Okay, that is, and a different, the uses of past tense, like the past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past perfect continuous tense. So these 4 tenses we are going to focus in today's class. Okay, so let's get started. First, simple past tense. Okay, what is simple past tense? Simple past tense is used to talk about action, talk about the completed action in the past. So simple past tense, what does it talk about? It talks about it talks about the completed action in the past. Okay, in the last class also I told you there is a certain structure that we have to follow while doing these tenses, right? Like, just like I told you, like just like in maths we have formula and formulas, etc. Like that only in English language also, while doing tenses, there is a sort of formula. It's not exactly a formula, we call it a structure. Okay, so what is the structure that is used to form simple past tense then? Well, the simple past tense can be formed by using structure, that is the subject plus verb in the past form. Okay, subject plus verb in the past form plus object. Okay, now let us try to see this structure in the sentence example. Okay, for better understanding. Okay, see the first sentence. I played basketball with my teammates yesterday. Okay, this is the first example. I'll give you 2 examples, and there I'll tell you what is the difference. Okay, the first sentence is I played basketball with my teammates yesterday. Okay, now the second sentence is, again, I ate 3 oranges this morning in the breakfast. Okay, now if you see in the first sentence, what is the subject? Subject is I, right? What is the verb? Verb is played. Okay, now in this sentence I have used the verb played, P-L-A-Y-E-D, played, right? Now what is the base form of this word? The past tense, the base form of played is what? Play, isn't it? Okay, now here the past tense of play is what? Played. Okay, I've used the word played. Now there are some verbs, here in this sentence the past tense has been formed by adding ed to the base form of the word. The base form of the word, or the base form of the verb in this sentence, I played basketball with my teammates yesterday. Now in this sentence, what is the verb? Verb is played. What is the base form of this verb? Play. Played is made from the word play, isn't it? Okay, now there are some verbs, which can be, there are some, verbs whose past tense can be formed by adding ed to the words. Now such kinds of verbs are called regular verbs. Remember, in the past lessons we talked about the different types of verbs. We talked about regular verbs and irregular verbs. Okay, quickly I'm going to tell you what regular verb is. Well, regular verbs are those verbs whose past tense can be formed by adding ed to the word. Okay, by adding ed to the end of the word, right? And what is irregular verb? An irregular verb is a verb where you need not add ed to the ed towards the end of the verb. It takes a different form. Like in sentence number 2, see, I ate 3 oranges this morning in the breakfast. Now what is the verb here? Verb is ate. What is the base form of the verb ate? It is eat. So here we are not adding see, what's the spelling of eat? E-A-T, eat, isn't it? Okay, what is the past tense? A-T-E, ate. So we are not adding ed to the word eat. Are we saying E-A-T-E-D? No, isn't that's completely wrong. So this kind of verb where you do not add ed, whose past tense cannot be formed. A verb whose past tense cannot be formed by adding ed is called irregular verbs. So in the first sentence, the verb is played, where you have made the past tense by adding ed. Okay. In the second sentence, the verb is what? The verb is ate, which is formed from the base word what? Eat, where you have not added the word ed. Okay, it's irregular verb. So these are some examples of what? Simple past tense. All right. Now we will see the second, that is past continuous tense. All right. Now what is past continuous tense? Well, a past continuous tense, I'll just give you a brief definition first. We'll try to understand that. Well, a past continuous tense indicates an action which started in the past and continued in a certain time period. Okay, what is past continuous tense? A past continuous tense, indicates an action that has been started. Okay, that has been started in the past and is continued in a certain period of time period. All right. See, to form, this past continuous tense can be formed by using a structure. What is the structure for making past continuous tense? The structure is subject plus was or were plus verb in the ing form. Okay, whenever we talk about continuous tense, what comes immediately in our mind? What comes immediately in our mind? Verb with ing form. Right, okay. So here, how is past continuous tense formed then? Well, what is the structure? Structure is first the subject plus either was or were plus verb in the ing form. Understood? Okay. Why was or were? Why was or were then? How do we, when do we use was and were? Very often children ask me question, ask question in the sense, when I'm making some corrections in the copies and all, instead of was, they write were, or instead of were, they write was, and they ask me why are we using was? Can't we use were instead of was? Well, that doubt will be cleared here. Well, I'll tell you. See, when do we use was for a subject? We use was for a subject like what? I, he, she, it. If the subject means, the doer in the sentence. If the subject of the sentence is beginning of the sentence, who is the subject? Subject is a doer, isn't it? So if the subject of the sentence is I, he, she, or it, then you use the word was, W-A-S, was. Okay. And if the subject of the sentence is you, we, they, then you use the word what? W-E-R-E, were. Alright. For better understanding, we will see some sentence example. And the first example that I put up there, just check it out. Number 1 is, I was playing basketball when you called me up. Okay, I was playing basketball when you called me up. See, I've used the word was here. Right, was. Why? Because the subject is what? Subject is I. So, see, let us see the structure. Is the structure correct? I told you, the structure for past continuous tense is subject plus either was or were plus verb in the ing form. Okay, see, subject is, what is the subject here? Subject is I. Okay, then we've used was. What is the verb in the ing form here? What? Playing. Right, playing. And what's the object? Basketball. So you see the structure, did you see? So this is the correct way of writing. Okay, past continuous tense. Now, let us see the second sentence. You were sleeping when daddy called up. You were sleeping when daddy called up. Okay, so here, we've used the word were. Remember, either was or were, but here in this sentence we've used what? W-E-R-E, were. Why? But it's because the subject is what? You. Alright, so what is the subject in the sentence? The subject is you, then followed by subject plus were plus verb in the ing form. What is the verb in the ing form? It is sleeping. So did you see that? Okay, right. Now let us see the next past perfect tense. Okay, past perfect tense. So when we when we hear the word perfect, when we are doing tenses, what comes in your mind first? Have, has, or had, isn't it? That comes in your, like when we talk about continuous tense rather, what comes in your mind? Verb in the ing form, right? Now we'll keep that in mind. Past that is perfect, have, has, or had, and we'll see what is past perfect tense. Okay, now what is past perfect tense then? Well, the past perfect tense expresses, okay, something that happened in the past and something else that happened even before that. Okay, now see once again, past perfect tense. What is it? A past perfect tense expresses something that has happened in the past, okay, and something else happened even before that. Therefore, it is often used with the past tense. Okay, now first let's see what is the structure for this then. I mean, how is the words placed in past perfect tense? Well, the structure is subject plus had, had. Okay, past tense of what? Have, had. Verb plus what? Verb plus had plus verb in the past participle. Past participle, okay. First you have base word, then you have past tense, then past participle, right? So the structure is subject plus had plus verb in the past participle form plus object. Okay, now for better understanding, let's see the sentence first. Okay, after Tom had repaired his laptop, he fell asleep. Okay, see the sentence that follows. After Tom had repaired his laptop, he fell asleep. Now here in this sentence, what do you see? In this sentence, both the action happened in the past, no? Okay, Tom repaired his laptop, Tom fell asleep. See, both the action had happened in the past, but repairing of the laptop happened before he fell asleep, isn't it? Okay, Tom repaired his laptop, then he fell asleep. So in this sentence, actually both the action had happened in the past, but which action had happened first or earlier? Well, his action of repairing the laptop had happened before he fell asleep, isn't it? So why I'm saying you this is, well, see, when we have two past action, like here in this sentence, we have two past action. First is Tom had repaired, I'm talking now, repaired, past tense. After Tom had repaired his laptop, he fell asleep. So both the sentences in the past tense, isn't it? Okay, now as I said just now, the first action, what was the first action? First action is Tom repaired his laptop. Second action is what? He fell asleep. Now why I'm saying first and second is this. See, when we have two sentences, or when we have two past actions, then we use past perfect. We use past perfect if you want to clearly indicate which happened first. Understood? So I'm talking about this sentence is, this topic is about past perfect tense. So when do we use past, like I was stressing on which action took first and which action took later. Why I'm telling you this is that, see, when we have two past actions, okay, then what do we use? We use past perfect. Okay, we use past perfect if you want to clearly indicate which happened or which action happened first. Okay, so that's about past perfect tense. Now let us see what is past perfect continuous tense. Okay, see, when do we use past perfect continuous tense then? Well, we use past perfect continuous tense to show something that started in the past, and continued up. Something, that I'm talking about the action which started up in the past and which continued up until some another action occurred. I'm talking about past perfect continuous tense. When do we use? We use when, we use to show that some action or something has started in the past and it continued up until another action occurred. Okay, see, what is the structure? What is the, how do we, how do we put the words in this sentence? I mean, in past perfect continuous tense, then the structure is subject plus had been, okay, not just had been, plus verb in the ing form plus object. Okay, shall we see the sentence example for better understanding? Okay, see example. The ground was wet. Okay, the ground was wet because it had been raining. Okay, so in this sentence, see, let us see whether that structure is fulfilled or not. The structure which I was talking just now is fulfilled or not. Subject, the structure was what? Subject plus had been plus verb in the ing form plus object. Okay, now the structure is, okay, the subject is first. What is the subject here? The ground or it. It represents the ground here. Okay, then we subject the ground plus had been rather. Subject is there. What is the subject? The ground or an it plus had been plus verb in the ing form. What is the verb in the ing form? Raining. Okay, see, this sentence can also be, said in the another way. See, instead of saying the ground was wet because it had been raining, you can also say what? It had been raining, so the ground was wet. Okay, so these are the four types of, past tense we studied today. What did we study? Simple past tense, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous tense. Okay, now see, if we want to go deeper to the lessons, we can go very deep in studying about the types and how does it how does it work and things like that. We can go deeper for learning of this subject. Okay, the tenses, but we are only doing the we are only studying, or we are only touching up those, that much only, that much only what is required for class 8 standard. Okay, we are not going very deeper, otherwise we are going to get confused. Whatever I am teaching or whatever I am telling you about the tenses is just for class 8 level. For it's not for the higher level, so we are not going to talk about very high about tenses. We just touched whatever is required for the class 8 standard. All right, well, we're going to stop here for today. For next lesson, kindly stay tuned. In the next class we'll talk about what? Future tense. All right, till then, stay connected and stay